How many times have you checked your phone today? What if your phone was out of your hands and in your mind? In this world, artificial intelligence is the human experience. Generations from now, the United States of the future exists on a dead earth. Everything from air to clouds to atmosphere is manufactured. People's skin melts off their flesh. Oceans are dead and toxic. The sun is artificial, and the world is collapsing physically and politically. Handheld mobile technology becomes obsolete due to the development of the feed, a chip implanted into the brain at birth, which gives you mental access to a global network run by one of 3 mega corporations. Schools are trademarked and don't have human teachers. Most Americans have the feed from which to shop, chat, store, pay, watch news, find information, and more. The feed keeps track of your consumer tendencies to target your set demographic. Language has lost its integrity, and this upper-class society is marked by ignorance to the highest degree. Feed follows Titus, a privileged so-called normal teenager who unquestioningly acquiesces to the feed culture with his crew of friends. That is, until he meets Violet on a spring vacation to the moon. Yes, the moon. Violet's alternative upbringing complicates her social relationships with Titus and others. Her family's lack of financial stability causes her to get the feed much later than usual, and when she and Titus get attacked by a hacker who opposes this hyper-capitalist society, over time, Violet's feed starts to experience complications. Titus's determination to block out the weight of a horrific reality is complicated by Violet and her fight to resist. Violet was completely white. She was shaking. Her head, it was bobbing. She suddenly was yelling, "Can I tell you what I see? Can I tell you? We are hovering in the air while people are starving. This is obvious. Obvious. We're playing games and our skin is falling off. We're losing it and we're making out. And you're talking. You're starting to talk in a fucking sestina, okay? A sestina, okay? Stop it. Fuck you. We've all got to stop it." She was screaming. People were staring and chatting, and they weren't chatting with me, except Link, who gave me a single, "What's doing with this? Fix it," before cutting me off. Violet was screaming, "Look at us. You don't have the feed. You are feed. You're feed. You're being eaten. You're raised for food. Look at what you've made yourselves." She pointed at Quendi and went, "She's a monster. A monster. Covered with cuts. She's a creature." The target audience for feed is about 13 to 17-year-olds. The genre is dystopian young adult fiction. Lexile says that feed has a Lexile score of 770L and is intended for grades 6 to 7. As for the pertinent language and content, feed does have some curse words and mild sexual situations. The language used in the text takes some adjusting to. Made-up futuristic slang words are used. Unit and unit are stand-ins for words like dude or sis. Some of the slang is contextualized. For example, getting wasted is called going in mal, as in malfunction. So the reader will have to use context clues to interpret the slang. Some potential hotspots are that the book is maybe a little too radical in its critique of capitalism, and there's no real resolution to it. The language is not too aggressive or foul, and there are no depictions of trauma or violence, just the calculated indifference of corporations and the government towards people. So as for classroom use, I think that the book is good for classroom discussions around power, technology, society, climate change, and the way our lives in the U.S. are shaped by capitalism. I'm actually not so sure I would use this as a whole class text just because it does not have quite as high literary merit as some other dystopian YA books, and does somehow boil down to the plot being a love story, but I would encourage using the book in either literature circles or for independent reading. The book was written in 2001 before anyone had social media or smartphones, so the world and feed was a bit less scarily realistic than it is now with the current advancements in technology and AI and all that. So I think it would be interesting for students to compare the USA of feed with the USA of today.